Before he got sick, my 33, late husband, bought a very old house that he wanted to fix. It apparently used to be some old money family's hunting lodge. At least that's what the realtor said, that had fallen into disrepair. His intention was never to use the house as a primary residence. His justification for the purchase was that he had grown up poor, and after he started making a lot of money, he had never spent much of it on luxuries for himself or his family for the past few decades. He didn't want to wear expensive clothes or drive expensive cars. His money only ever went to safe investments or to new businesses that he was able to make a success. So this was the one purchase that he wanted to make just because he could. Unlike our other homes in pristine condition, this home was falling apart. I've had an okay relationship with one of his daughters during our 6-year marriage. However, his other daughter has always been difficult. She disliked how tight-fisted her dad was towards her mom and family. She had a horrible boyfriend who already had 5 children with 2 other women by the time he was 32, but believed that after having her preschool daughter, he would propose instead of leaving her, as he did. After the boyfriend left her, my husband and I let her live in the house rent-free. I thought she was supposed to start paying rent, but my husband got sick and they never communicated well. But during the year she was in the house, it continued to deteriorate quickly. After my husband died, his assets were divided between me, his nephew, and the rest in a trust for our son, preschooler. He gave each daughter $100. I told his daughter that she had to start paying $900 a month in exchange for living in 2 adjoining rooms upstairs and being able to use the kitchen. She said that was too hard and that she was a single mom. She also got mad when I said that her boyfriend is around spending money on dates, but somehow can't send support. After a week of contact, I handed it over to my lawyers, who went through all the steps to give proper notice and then filed for eviction. However, evictions take a long time in our state. It's been 4 months, and my stepdaughter wants to fight it because she has no plan and below average credit. I have somebody who goes to the common area to do basic cleanup, and my stepdaughter claims depression has made her unable to clean. We always knew the house was falling apart, but after getting somebody to inspect it, my agents told me that this place could easily be condemned, and we wouldn't have to wait for a proper eviction. So now my stepdaughter and her kid are being forced out immediately, and she's furious and says she could have made do, and I was leaving her homeless. Am I the idiot for going a legally permissible route and getting the house condemned? It needed to be rehabbed, but now I'm rid of a problematic tenant. Edit. You should know that daughters were allocated $100 each in his will before we even began dating. My husband intended to give it all to his nephew, but then divided it between him, me, and our son. Why were his daughters only given $100 each? Even the one you got along with? Why did you, your son, and your nephew get everything? Why did your late husband and you allow the one daughter to move into a house that was so broken down? Would your late husband want his daughter and grandchild to live on the streets? Especially when this guy had enough money to buy multiple homes in pristine condition. That's messed up. Just because something is legally permissible doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. You are the idiot. Putting aside everything else, going from charging $0 to charging $900 a month for 2 rooms that should be condemned and access to a kitchen? Is there a bathroom included in that? What's your nasty little plan? And why are you taunting her about ex-boyfriend spending money? It has nothing to do with anything, for as long as he's not paying child support. So the only reason I can think of is to be as cruel as humanly possible. Apparently, in OP's mind, her stepdaughter should have followed OP's example and married an old man with money and grabbed everything she could away from her stepchildren. Evil stepmom from Cinderella is taking notes from OP. Lady, I'm sure you're the same age as the daughters and conned him into leaving them out of his will. You are the idiot, OP, and a huge one. I, 56 female, have twin daughters, Ava and Susie, 25, with my husband, 57. Ava and Susie have always been complete opposites, but they were best friends just before they moved away for college. Ava got into one of the best schools in the country and moved across the country for it. And Susie got into a good school, but not as great as the one Ava got into. And this is where the problems began. Susie started making digs at Ava and making jokes that the college only accepted her for diversity reasons. Ava wouldn't let Susie say mean things about her without fighting back. So it was an entire summer of fighting and hostility in our household, no matter what my husband and I did to try to solve it. Susie's situation at college wasn't great. She got into hard sugar in college and was expelled in her second year for doing them on campus. She had to move back home and go to rehab. Rehab failed a lot of times, but we didn't give up on her. Ava would return home several times a year to see and support her sister. We were doing whatever we could to help Susie get her life back on track. Last year was the first time Susie's rehab actually worked for months after she finished the treatment, and she even got a part-time job. Things were and still are looking promising. She hasn't gone back to sugar, and she's now working 30-ish hours a week. She's exercising and writing poetry and painting. We're so incredibly proud of her. Ava graduated with an undergraduate and a master's degree. My husband and I flew to her city for both graduations. Susie couldn't come to Ava's master's graduation because she said she couldn't take time off of work. She hasn't taken time off work the entire year, so I'm kind of doubtful that she would be denied time off, but I didn't push the issue. I figured she didn't want to go. Anyway, my husband and I went, and we took loads of pictures, some of which I posted on Facebook. A lot of my friends and family were commenting on the post, congratulating Ava and wishing her well. I got a call from Susie about 30 minutes after I posted it, asking if I could delete it. I asked her why, and she couldn't initially give me a reason. I said I'm not deleting it without a good reason, since all I did was post about Ava's graduation. She said if I keep posting about Ava's achievements and none of hers, she's going to look like a failure to everyone, and they're all going to wonder why Ava's done so well in life and she hasn't. I said I don't post about her because she doesn't ever want me to. I once wanted to post the very first big canvas she painted on Facebook, and she asked me not to because she thought it wasn't something good enough to post or be proud of in comparison to what other people her age are achieving. I always try to assure her that we're proud of her and how far she's come is something she should also be proud of herself for. But she still doesn't ever want me to post anything about her on Facebook, so I don't. I told Susie that her feelings are valid, but Ava deserves to be celebrated, and that maybe she can talk about her feelings about this whole thing with her therapist and find a way to cope because living like this isn't fair to either of them. I said I wanted to post about her achievements too and how proud I am of her, but she won't let me, and that doesn't mean I shouldn't do it for Ava either. I was going to ask Ava whether she minds if I take it down, but honestly, I think Susie needs to deal with this problem with her therapist instead of forbidding us to celebrate Ava on social media. I don't want her to continue living like this, and I don't think my conceding this time will be helpful to either one of my daughters in the long run. Susie said it shouldn't be this hard for me to do something so minor that it would make her feel better. I don't know if I'm being completely awful or if I have it right. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You did nothing wrong. Susie can't have it both ways. She can't tell you that she doesn't want you to post things about her and then wonder if not posting things will make her look like a loser. Taking the pictures down would not make Susie feel better. Her unhappiness is far deeper and self-related. This is so important. Susie's externalizing her pain. She's projecting it onto you and something you did, rather than accepting that it's about her and how she feels about herself and her life. Minimizing Ava's accomplishments to make Susie feel better is not a good solution. Making someone else look smaller so you can feel bigger is never the right answer. Susie needs to work on accepting where she's at in life. I wouldn't even talk to Ava about taking it down. Why hurt Ava's feelings because Susie's jealous? Even if Susie regrets her life choices, she still has to own them. Taking responsibility is part of rehab, for gosh sake. Also, 2 different people, 2 different approaches. They've outgrown the need to be treated equally. This is not a competition. I, 33 female, and my boyfriend, 37, went on a big beach vacation we'd been planning with 2 other couple friends for a while. I make significantly more money than my boyfriend, I'm a nurse practitioner. He's a barista. And because of this, he thinks it's fair I pay for most things. I have no problem with this. I love doing fun things with him. So we're on our big vacation and having dinner at a nice restaurant, and one of his friends mentions how lucky I am to have a partner who takes care of me. I asked what he meant, and apparently, my boyfriend told his friends he paid for the whole trip, along with all the other fun things we do: concerts, nice meals, other vacations. I was shocked, and I said that I paid for everything. My boyfriend got flustered and left the table. He was angry with me for the rest of the trip. Later in our room, he told me I made him look like a beta, and I had no right embarrassing him like that. Am I the idiot? I was just telling the truth. Edit. He was lying to his friends about a bunch of side hustles apparently. Or maybe he was lying to me. At this point, I don't know which, honestly. Not the idiot. He should have talked to you if he wanted to lie about that, so you wouldn't let something slip. Also, it seems like a big red flag that he wants to live on your money, but still tells his friends that he pays for everything, so he doesn't look poor. He has no problems taking credit for your hard work. He is the beta. Dump that loser. Please break up. This will not get better. If he can lie this easily and casually to others, there's a giant chance that he's also lying to you. This guy just sounds like bad news all around. He's illogical, childish, and prideful. And for what it's worth, there are plenty of men out there who can earn less than their partners and not feel emasculated. Exactly. He's 37 and a barista? Girl, ask yourself if you really want a future where you pay for everything, do all the work, and he still gets all the praise, just so he can feel like an alpha? If he wants to be an alpha, then he can start by paying for his own vacation and stop leeching off of you. I, female 39, have a very insecure daughter, a young teen, who has a depressingly unhealthy obsession with her looks. She often avoids mirrors and pictures because her mood instantly drains when she sees herself. She constantly asks her father and me if we think she's pretty, and we always tell her the same thing. She's a beautiful girl inside and out. As I understand how most teenage girls are with their body image, as I was one at some point myself, my daughter's vanity is not only becoming exhausting to those around her, but I fear it's causing her to lose herself slowly. Yesterday, I decided to sit down with her and chat about this, discuss what's bothering her, and see if she's willing to visit a therapist. She told me she didn't want to talk about it, but as her mother, of course, I was going to be worried about her, so I insisted. She finally agreed. A few minutes into this conversation, she asked, "Mom, I want you to be completely honest with me. That means no sugarcoating. The kids at my school think I'm ugly and say I look like a bird because I have a big nose. Do you really think I'm beautiful, or are you just lying?" I'm an honest person, so I gave her the most honest answer I had. I told her she was average looking, like most people in the world are, and that having an average appearance is not bad. She immediately got up, left without saying a word, and just went into her room for the rest of the night. Today she's been cold and distant, and I think I upset her, which wasn't my intention at all. Am I the idiot? Of course you're the idiot. I'm an honest person is a weird reason to sit a child down and essentially confirm in her mind that you are a liar and she is as ugly as the other kids say she is. Look, this isn't one of your girlfriends asking for your honest opinion on whether she could be a supermodel. It's not even your kid asking if you think he's smart enough to get into Yale. This is your child asking if you think she's beautiful while she's being bullied for being ugly to the point where she can't even look in a mirror. Mom, am I pretty? Sweetie, you're average like most of the ugly people of the world are. Help, my daughter won't talk to me. Why? Info. What are you going to do now that you know she's being bullied? Bullied so badly that she literally avoids mirrors and is clearly depressed. Considering OP just confirmed, in her daughter's mind, everything the bullies have been saying, I'm not sure she should do anything else. She thought this was helping. I'm scared to find out what else she would do under the guise of helping. I feel bad for this poor girl because, in her eyes, her mom has been lying to her and is now one of the bullies. Every kid should be beautiful in their parents' eyes, and they deserve to know it daily. I got called ugly all through high school. I don't know how I would feel if my mom called my response vanity. I used to look in mirrors and try to figure out how I could be less ugly. I still think I'm ugly. It's not vanity, it's distressing. Don't know what I would have done if my mom called me average. Maybe never leave the house again. What is it with parents thinking it's okay to tell their kids they're not attractive? We all know how many relatives exaggerate how brilliant, charming, and attractive we are. We take it with a pinch of salt. But if we ask, we're asking you because we know we'll get the answer. We need affirmation. You know she's insecure, so why make her more insecure? You're not a therapist. Do not try to be. Be a mom. 4 days ago, my daughter, a young teen, and I got into a fight. Basically, she was rude to her teacher and refused to apologize because, quote, that witch deserved it. We got into a fight over this, and she yelled that she hated me and wished I was dead. I told her to get into the car and took her to her mom's home. She apologized and asked me to let her stay with me, but I said no. This is how your life is going to be if I'm dead. You have to experience it, and left her there. These past 4 days, she's been sending texts, begging me to let her come home, but I haven't answered any of her texts. My mom found out about it and called me a heartless idiot. Am I? I must add that her mom is the every other weekend parent. She's not abusive or anything like that. She's just very cold, and my daughter hates her for that. You are the idiot. Did you ever stop to ask your daughter why she felt the way she did about her teacher? It sounds like you didn't even ask. There could be something serious going on here. Also, 14 is a terrible time for children. They're going through puberty. They're insecure, and they're trying to cope. LOL, she literally told her father she wished he was dead. A young teen is old enough to understand the magnitude of your words. She got a taste of what she asked for. Dad isn't an idiot for preparing her for the possibility of what she asked for. She isn't in harm's way or hurting from this. She had to spend a few days at her mom's house. She'll be okay. When I was sent away as a child, once my anger faded, all that was left was a horrible assumption that I wasn't wanted by my parent nor loved because, while extremely frustrated, I spoke out. Keep that in mind. I was the same age as OP's daughter then. You are the idiot. Using her mom for punishment is wrong. Showing your daughter that you'll just dispose of her if she doesn't do everything you say makes you a crappy parent and an idiot. Also, kids will misbehave or lash out with the adult they feel safe with. Way to show her she's not safe with you. I was safe with both my parents, and there's no way I ever said some crap like that to them. If you let your kids talk that way to you, they'll never respect you. You are not the idiot. Sending her to stay with a less liked parent is an abandonment. This situation is no different from, we need time to cool down. I'll let you stay with your mom for a few days. Parents are allowed to have feelings and be upset at the messed up things their children say. She wasn't kicked out. She went to her mom's house. She's a young teen and knows the power of her words.